Man, I am catching up on my backlog of stuff to read from the last couple of weeks. Made it to strangers. Like, look at all this stuff I gotta read, dude. I got so much stuff here. I got so much stuff. This is what happens when you don't keep up with what you buy. You end up digging yourself into a hole, and it sucks. But I did just read Strangers #1, and the premise is kind of interesting because the characters really are strangers. This isn't like some secret code name for a team. Well, maybe it is, like in the next issue. I don't know. I've never read this book before. But what I can tell you is a little bit of false advertising because the characters in the book don't look like this in the book. This is like what the team's going to look like in the next issue. We start off on a cable car in San Francisco, like of all places to start off at. We start off in a cable car, and this dude and this redhead are sucking face like whoa. Um, wow. You're putting that in a comic book that anybody can get for $1.95 in like $1992. Wow, look at that hair pull. The hair is so lovingly rendered, man. It looks great. And the cop's like, "Hey, you guys need to knock it off." And he's like, "I'll own this town because I'm JD Hunt or whatever his name was." Well, the people on the cable car chuck the dude off of the cable car. Okay, you with me so far? Immediately thereafter, the cable car gets struck by a massive energy beam from outer space, or lightning, or maybe it's originating from inside the cable car. I don't know. But there's a big Zorch. The cable car goes out of control, crashes into this nice sports car here. They say it's a Miata. And dude here gets like a piece of metal jammed through his skull into his brain. And over the next couple of pages, a lot of the characters that were on this cable car, these two guys, her, is that the kid? I don't remember if that's the kid. There's a kid too. They all end up manifesting powers in different ways. All right, let's show some of that. This is such an old book, I don't think it really matters if I show a little bit of it. Oh, and the redhead that was sucking face is a robot, by the way. Yeah, see? Crazy powers. Crazy powers. What are the crazy powers do we got? Crazy powers. Crazy powers. Meanwhile, the girl is walking around town, basically, in her underwear because she was just wearing a trench coat over lingerie. Very obvious what was going on there. This is like, the writer's fetish, the comic book. Kind of what it feels like. That's being a little bit mean, but that's also a funny image, funny thought. And so they're getting together. They all have powers. She shows up at the end of the book, and they have a throwdown with her. Stuff happens. Nobody has costumes. Just a lot of different power sets. And she's like a robot with like energy beams or something. And it's actually kind of cool. She is not wearing lingerie on the cover, but she wears lingerie through pretty much the whole book. Pretty much the whole book. Yeah, see, she's in this book. It's not just a trick of the cover. She actually is in it. The trick of the cover is just all the other characters who don't have super costumes yet. But we totally get a couple pages of good combat action here as our heroes are dealing with her. So I don't know if she ends up joining the team or what, but in this issue, she shows up, causes some havoc in town, and they gotta fight her. And when I got done reading this, except for the first few pages and like the kind of like I like the mystery aspect. Let's put it that way. I like the what's going on here aspect. The fact that these characters are all, judging by the cover, just going to turn into like generic superheroes, kind of a letdown on what could have been a really interesting exploration of people getting weird abilities. Now, maybe there's some of that in the rest of the series, but the costumes on the cover kind of suggest to me that they just turn into like regular caped characters and go do caped character stuff. Also, her running around in underwear the entire book is kind of funny. Like, that's ridiculous. And she is a robot, I'm pretty sure. J.D. Hunt shows up somewhere and he's like, the world can never know what she is. And then there she is with like metal inside of her arm, and it makes her freak out. And she didn't like have self awareness, so like the big energy blast like gave her self awareness. She apparently already had powers or something. Not 100% sure. It was okay. Not probably not worth the $1.95 it would have cost you back when this was new in, say down here, June 1993. Hey, Skybox cards. All right, there you go. There's The Strangers #1. Take care. Bye bye.